Former Russian world champion skaters Eugenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov were among those killed in the recent collision between an American Airlines flight and a military helicopter in Washington, D.C. Fort Wayne-based coach Alina Lunin says she grew up with them.
Our son is the same age, too, so my son competed with their son when they were younger, so it's extremely heartbreaking news for me.
Everyone on board both aircraft is believed dead, but officials are still trying to locate all of the bodies. Anderson police are investigating after they say a teenager broke into a home and shot herself. Officers think 18-year-old Shemaya Allen was armed when she went to a home on Lincoln Street. She apparently broke in and began searching for the occupants, but police later found her with a gunshot wound. They believe she shot herself, though specific details were not provided. But Governor Mike Braun announced his pick for Indiana's next Inspector General. Harrison Silcox reports.
If you don't know what the gig is about, the Inspector General is supposed to help reduce fraud and pretty much any general wrongdoing within state agencies. Braun announced Friday that Jared Prentice will be taking that job. He comes with plenty of experience as a lawyer in both public and private sectors. He's worked for the Indiana Department of Revenue, Elevance Health, and spent the last year at Deloitte Services. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, mostly cloudy, some spotty areas of drizzle in the early morning hours. Low temperatures in the low to mid 30s. For Sunday, Groundhog Day, mostly cloudy with winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Jewelry Gram, it's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart. For the one, we'll help you propose with the dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. In stock and ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Or maybe you'll fall in love with the natural, colorful gemstone. At Shane Company, we're known for our sapphires in every color of the rainbow. We have options for every style and budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. Our mother-of-pearl heart-shaped collection makes a perfect gift that's ready to give. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Shining like a
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, happy to return to the airwaves of Indianapolis on 93 WIBC. Producer Jack, beep, 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 pushing buttons and doing the things to make the show function. We had a dramatic start to the Trump administration, less than 2 weeks in, and already 2 monumental and perplexing air disasters. Of course, this has been coming for a little while now. Even in the Biden administration, you might remember the door that had blew off mid-flight of the Alaska Airlines and several other accidents with Boeing airliners. So you knew it was only a matter of time before something like this hit. And then mere days after the Ronald Reagan air collision, there was an accident in Philadelphia where a medical jet crashed into a small neighborhood and mall. This was wild stuff just a couple of days ago.
We're getting some word out of northeast Philadelphia of what's believed to be a small plane crashing into a number of houses there. Waiting for some pictures there. I think we have them coming to us from Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Fires burning in multiple spots. If you know that area, northeast Philadelphia, Cotman Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard. We're being told by Fox 29 that multiple fires are burning. There are pieces of what appears to be this airplane scattered here. That's from Steve Keeley, one of the reporters from Fox 29 on the ground. You can see some of the fires there. Authorities closing off those areas. We're trying to get word of casualties. We don't have any official word from authorities yet.
All 6 of the passengers on that plane died in the wreckage. I believe it was 19 others, almost 24 others were injured in the subsequent crash. And this was captured pretty prolifically on DoorDash cameras, Ring video cameras, on people's dash cams, on people just who happen to be witnessing with their smartphone. Multiple angles, and we still don't know what has caused this, but it was an enormous tragedy, as was the collision near Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. between the American airliner and the Black Hawk helicopter, which was flying mysteriously more than 200 feet above its authorized clearance.
Fire Command. The accident happened in the river. Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river. It's east of the approach end of runway 33.
Is the airfield closed?
Yes, the airfield is closed. The airfield is closed.
Runways as well?
Yes, all runways are closed. Nobody's landing. No one's moving at all. It was probably out in the middle of the river. I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. So I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit. I would say maybe a half mile off the approach end of 33.
Wow, it is stunning to hear her talk about that when she said she saw the collision and then it just wasn't there.
And the Ronald Reagan Airport disaster itself was the deadliest American airline collision for at least the last 15 years. This is some crazy stuff to start off the Trump administration. Donald Trump, of course, is weighing into the discussion, and he is pointing the finger squarely at DEI initiatives which have watered down the merit and the structure of the FAA, something that Democrats are vociferously opposing in media, both the lamestream media and on social media. But you can hear from former FAA officials. Here was a former flight controller who himself, Michael Pearson, is saying that DEI initiatives have damaged FAA's operational integrity.
This is a preventable disaster. This is the system has been under attack through the DEI and the FAA bowing to wokeness since 2010, since the Obama administration. The lack of staffing is directly attributable to the Obama administration terminating the lists of eligible, well-trained air traffic control statements in 36 universities across the country in 2013 because they were too white. The FAA also at the same time implemented an immunity program. So you think you're seeing legitimate statistics, you're not. In the old days, before 2010, the immunity program, if an air traffic controller got 2 airplanes too close, too many times, they would be decertified and retrained. Now, they're not. All they have to do within 48 hours of being noticed or being investigated for a potential separation error, they're called operational errors in the FAA, the controller just simply has to avail themselves of this program that gives them immunity. And when I say immunity, I mean immunity. The FAA cannot retrain these people. If somebody has a repetitive instance of malfeasance or lack of competency, the FAA, because of this immunity program, cannot rectify the situation.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the is that?
So these are the kinds of disasters that are invited by DEI policy, because instead of prioritizing the most functional, the highest skilled, most qualified individuals to be part of the FAA, they're prioritizing the physical makeup, their racial characteristics, what background or sexuality they have, which has nothing to do with how qualified you are to fly a plane. Now, there are multiple questions here with what happened, especially with the Black Hawk helicopter. Why didn't they see the oncoming plane approaching? Foremost among them, I mean, when you're in a helicopter, there's a big windshield right in front of you. Presumably, you have pretty good visibility, although it was night which is fair to point out, but it doesn't answer the question of why they were flying more than 200 feet above their authorized operational limit. And then, of course, they were using an older transponder. So maybe it wasn't communicating with the computer systems. We just don't know at this point. Fortunately, they're going to be able to recover the black boxes with the flight recorder data. So we'll be able to get more details on that in the coming weeks. But still, what an incredible tragedy to happen in the first couple of weeks of the Trump administration. And Democrats aren't going to be able to get away from the fact that their DEI policies did change the prioritization of the FAA. Here was the Deputy Administrator, Brad Mims, himself inviting a diverse background of people to apply instead of the most qualified. This is what was prioritized under the Biden administration.
I'm Brad Mims, Deputy Administrator at the Federal Aviation Administration. We are looking for the best and brightest to join us as air traffic controllers. We need a diverse group of air traffic controllers to bring distinct perspectives to handle the ever-changing aerospace landscape. I'm calling on students and alumni from HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, and tribal colleges to apply now to become air traffic controllers. I don't want anyone interested to miss out on this amazing career opportunity. Make sure you complete your full application during our application window. We need a diverse, next-generation air traffic workforce with people from all backgrounds. So apply now.
He said it. He said it. There it is. There it is.
So you heard from the FAA themselves what they were prioritizing. It was diversity rather than skill, rather than merit. And these are disastrous consequences that you can see as a result of that prioritization. And it's sad, and it's certainly a tragedy for the dozens of people whose lives were lost in these air accidents. And it's going to be enlightening to have the details revealed in the coming weeks. One thing, however, that we can put to rest is the mystery of those New Jersey drones that were flying in the weeks before the election. And this was Biden administration knew what was going on. And now that Donald Trump has become president, he's given us the skinny.
I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
It's done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
The Biden administration knew what was going on, and they didn't shine light on it because they wanted to create panic and unease among the American people. They were they were incredibly dishonest and disingenuous. One of the worst American presidents in U.S. history, and it's good that he's gone. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday night on The Circle. Coming up next, we're going to do a recap of the 2025 State of the State address, the first real major address from Mike Braun to the Indiana citizens. We'll tell you more about that coming up next. Stay tuned.
Tony Katz.
A good cow is a dead cow.
What?
Wow. I like steak. No one's going to argue with you there. This is something new. He's got the whole weird cow thing. That right there. I'm just saying that if the only good cow is a dead cow isn't a promo for WIBC by this time tomorrow, I'm firing everybody. That's all you got to put in it, man. Our whole team's got to go.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Winter weather can be tough on your home. Freezing temperatures, melting snow, ice buildup, and even winter droughts can all take a toll on your foundation, crawl space, and basement, leading to costly damage if left unchecked. If you've noticed any of these signs, it might be time for a checkup. Cracks in the drywall, uneven sagging or bouncy floors, sticking windows or doors, unwanted pests or bugs, heightened allergies or asthma indoors, musty, moldy, or mildew smells. These issues are often signs of deeper problems with your home's structure. Problems that will only get worse if ignored. Don't wait until the damage spreads. Let Indiana Foundation Service help with a free inspection from their trained, certified field inspectors. They'll uncover the source of the issue and recommend a solution that works for you. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to schedule your free inspection and get peace of mind this winter. Indiana Foundation Service, your trusted local experts in home care.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
So much to celebrate, but the fight has just begun, especially when we see how abortion took center stage in this historical election. That's why we can't stop talking about the ministry of Preborn. Preborn has rescued over 300,000 babies by loving mothers with unplanned pregnancies and introducing them to their baby on ultrasound. Once she sees her baby and hears their heartbeat, her baby's chance at life doubles. Preborn and their network of clinics are on standby for babies and mothers. Meet Deanna.
They do a bedside sonogram. As I'm looking at the sonogram, the baby waves.
Her baby called out from the womb, and she knew that life was the only choice.
God saved him. Not only did he save him, he saved me in a different type of way.
Your tax-deductible donation of $28 sponsors one ultrasound. Please donate. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Jesse. Sponsored by Preborn.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and switch to the expensive shampoo with amino acids. Sure, you don't know what those are or why you need them, but it sounds very impressive. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can massage it into your scalp every day. Now, if only you can get people to lean toward your head to smell those aminos. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shampoo, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
We need each other because every someone needs someone else.
We need each other because when we work together, we can do so much more.
We connect more children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. And that's what Child Fund is all about.
Because when you make someone's world better, you make everyone's world better.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Up to 100 times more potent than morphine, the tiniest amount of illegal fentanyl is all it takes to cause an overdose. Learn more at cdc.gov/overdose.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king's dead, long live the king. 1 minute I held the key. Next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
We've had the changing of the guard in the Indiana governor's mansion. The first administration of Governor Mike Braun has begun, and he's delivered his first State of the State address on Wednesday. I got to admit, producer Jack, I was pretty skeptical of Mike Braun and his administration. As many people know who have listened to this show, I was highly supportive of Donald Rainwater and his gubernatorial campaign. However, not going to have sour grapes. I was waiting to see what Mike Braun would do, and tentatively, so far, it's looking good. Thanks for listening to the show. This is Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. Producer Jack is on the board. Beep, 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 beep. pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. So did you get a chance to listen to the first State of the State, producer Jack, or were you busy on Wednesday evening?
I was busy on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, of course, a young bachelor like yourself, you were probably out on the town painting it red. So we'll do a recap, you and I here, of some of the highlights from the State of the State, namely Mike Braun making a marked prioritization of reducing property taxes, noting that too many Hoosiers are getting priced out of their homes.
Too many seniors and young families are getting priced out of their homes due to runaway property taxes. I heard it for 2 years on end. There are stories all over the state of Hoosiers struggling with huge hikes in their property tax bills. Janice's bill in Mooresville went up 44% since 2021. Grant in Plainfield saw his bill go up 32% in that same time. Sean and Kimberly's bill in Martinsville increased nearly 50%. And here with us tonight are Rob and Stephanie from Greenwood. They lived in the same house for 27 years, and since 2021, their property tax bill has more than doubled. And that's shameful, and it's not sustainable. Skyrocketed, in Rob's words, from $715 a year to over $1,500. Hoosiers from all over the state told me these tax bills keep rising, but wages aren't keeping up with that pace. This is not sustainable. Hoosiers like Rob and Stephanie need immediate relief. Thank you for being here tonight to share that story. And believe me, there are many others like you, and we're going to get something done.
Yippee! So the plan in brief that Mike Braun has offered is to return the tax level to 2021, which is not a big ask. That's not unreasonable. 2021 is not some far-flung, distant time in the past. Indiana government had grown to the size of billions of dollars, and so it would reset it to at least a somewhat more palatable level of government excess, and then cap the ability to grow in subsequent years. Now, of course, the official or the final bill hasn't taken full form, and there will be testimony for Senate Bill 1 this Tuesday. If you have time to pop down to the State House and make your voice known to the legislative body, the General Assembly, you absolutely should. Or if you want to send an email to your local legislators and let them know that reducing property taxes should be their priority, as Mike Braun has made it his, as he reiterated with the 3 top priorities of his administration.
My plan is built on 3 priorities. Cut property taxes for Hoosier families, especially new homeowners and seniors, the most vulnerable for not being able to pay that big increase. Cap the annual increase to protect homeowners, farmers, and businesses, and reform the system through transparency. And when you talk about a cap, I'm not asking for something terribly difficult. It's a cap that would probably never even reach the amount of economic growth that we experience when it's a robust economy. So there's plenty of room there to make sure that we exercise good judgment and don't be overbearing to the taxpayer.
Don't forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he always wanted.
What happened?
He lived happily ever after.
So far, Mike Braun is talking the talk. It's not been a whole lot of time in the administration, so we have yet to see if he'll walk the walk. But the fact that he's made the property tax issue the first priority of the legislative session, I think is a very good sign. But it's incumbent on us, the Hoosiers, the voters, to maintain and put pressure on the General Assembly. Mike Braun and Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith aren't going to be able to do it by themselves. We need to put the pressure on and message our legislators and then show up for the testimony when the opportunity arises. And like I said, that chance is going to come this Tuesday. I work in the mornings. I believe testimony starts at 9 a.m. I may be able to take off work and testify myself, or at least show my support. I don't know that yet 100%, but if you have the ability to, you certainly should, as should anybody who has the ability to take the time and then show up at the State House, because this needs to be a huge priority, because it's not just a win for the governor, it's going to be a win for you. It's going to be a win when you have a more affordable property tax rate and when you're able to stay in your home. Stability is good for the state, and it's good for your personal life. And Hoosiers have had to tighten their belts, for far too long, something that Governor Mike Braun noted, and it's time for the state and the federal, more broadly, government to take a turn.
Raising kids is expensive, and all across the state, parents are making tough choices at the kitchen table to make ends meet. Every Hoosier family in business had to tighten their belts over the last 4 years. It's time that our government does the same thing, and I'm going to help you all accomplish that.
You're damn right.
And he's made it a priority for the administration to cut regulations across the board, something that Donald Trump has done at the federal level because they accumulate over time and
raising kids is
and continue to put pressure on the economy. It's a downstream effect.
I directed my agency leaders to find cuts in their departments and signed a directive to cut at least a quarter of government regulations. Those stack up over time and sometimes are more painful than taxes that are too high. So I'm asking you to do that. We replaced the political DEI ideology with a level playing field of MEI. I know it's been a sensitive subject. Merit, excellence, and innovation. Diversity and equality are hallmarks of what we all believe as a country. But these top-down DEI approaches and mandates led to division and inefficiency. MEI puts merit and results at the forefront, and everyone has a chance to get ahead with hard work. My agenda is about delivering freedom and opportunity for all Hoosiers.
This will begin to make things right.
The fact that he's jettisoning the disastrous DEI initiatives that Eric Holcomb had implemented into the government is, again, a step in the right direction and hopefully indicates the level of seriousness that Mike Braun is willing to enact over his administration. It's only been a brief amount of time, but so far, I'm pretty optimistic. I got to say that he is overcoming my skepticism, but, you know, much remains to be seen. He did end the address, the State of the State, with a rather forceful tone that now is the time to be bold.
We were all elected by Hoosiers to get the job done, to get results. The question we face is simple. Will we treat this moment as a plateau, which I mentioned earlier, or as a foundation to build something truly exceptional? Now is the time to be bold and think out of the box. We can do it through big ideas, collaboration, and above all, action. Thank you, and God bless this great state of Indiana.
And Governor Mike Braun wrapping up his first State of the State address at the Indiana State House tonight, about 30 minutes in length, a wide-ranging speech to the General Assembly and Hoosiers across the state of Indiana.
Wow, that is delicious. Finally.
Possibly the most important takeaway, Producer Jack, is that for the first time in 8 years, Hoosiers at least have a reason to be optimistic. Now, all our hopes and dreams could be shattered. Politicians certainly have done it, and they are more than likely to do it again. They've done it before, but at least for the moment, I think an optimistic note was struck in the Mike Braun State of the State. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. Make sure to hop in the YouTube chat. We are broadcasting live on the YouTube machine 7 to 9 every Saturday night. And if you're there, go ahead and make sure to give us a like. Hammer and Nigel often request if they can get 100 likes. Maybe that's too lofty a goal for a Saturday night show. I understand everybody's busy. Not everybody can tune in or has access to YouTube. But I think we could possibly get to 50 likes. If you think that we're at least half as entertaining as Hammer and Nigel, then hop over to the YouTube machine, look for Saturday Night on The Circle, broadcasting live, and give us a like. Your support, your comments mean all the world to me, and they help the station as well as we are prioritized in the algorithm. The more engagement that you give us, the more we are able to grow our audience for you online. Thanks for listening to the show. Sound Dump coming up next. Stay tuned.
The administration is taking shape.
I, Marco Rubio. I, Marco Rubio. Y es un gran honor y le doy las gracias
Gracias, Presidente Trump. I just said I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. That's what I said. So.
Hearings and votes continue.
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine.
Confirmations are underway.
The Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
Follow the first 100 days on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times, pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the #1 antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
Fox News, I'm Jane Fergus. We're getting more information from the National Safety Board on last night's plane crash in Philadelphia that left 7 people dead.
The aircraft climbed to about 1,500 feet above the ground. We were looking at GPS data on the aircraft, a slight right turn followed by a slight left turn, and then a steep descent towards the ground.
That's NTSB senior investigator Ralph Hicks. At least 19 were injured. A Midwesterner from Minnesota is the new leader of the Democratic Party.
We're going to have to fight the extremes of Donald Trump while we make a sharp case to families in both red states and blue states about why they should trust us with their votes.
That is Ken Martin. He was a Democratic Party leader who was chosen today at the DNC winter meeting to head the party. He replaces Jamie Harrison. America's listening to Fox News.
We may be thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect. And when we do, we make things better. At Child Fund, we connect children all around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we co-create connections that help millions of children who live in poverty worldwide, and their families, and their communities, and you. Join us. Together, we can make the world a better place. 2 small worlds at a time. Visit childfund.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Ken Mears, founder of Great Healthworks, the maker of Omega XL. Folks, if you're searching for an answer to your daily aches, pains, and soreness, then try Omega XL. It's a natural product sourced from a green lip mussel. This oil extract is one of the most powerful, natural joint relief super oils in the world. This one-of-a-kind extract is not found in any other product, and it's backed by over 40 years of clinical research, showing that Omega XL provides relief from joint pain due to inflammation. Stop living in pain. Inflammation is controllable, it's manageable, and it's fixable. Importantly, Omega XL is small, easy to swallow, with no fishy aftertaste. And it works. We've put over 20 years into this quality brand, ensuring that Omega XL makes a difference in your life. Try it, and you won't be disappointed.
Call now for Omega XL's BOGO special. 800-607-2604. That's less than $20 a bottle. Remember, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. Terms apply. 800-607-2604. 800-607-2604. Or OmegaXL.com/news.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to don your faithful hazmat suit once again as we slide in the slime and the sludge generated from the lamestream media for another week in news. This week, you'll hear Anthony Mackie provide a practical demonstration of how to tank your superhero box office in one easy step. Rhodes Scholar Idris Elba offers his insights on a surprising method to reduce knife crime in the United Kingdom. And former president of Kenya mocks world leaders for expecting American handouts in perpetuity. Also, Trump mocks CNN in a satisfying return to form as he regains power in the White House. Hear it all for this edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIBC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle, and I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. Producer Jack faithfully beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Producer Jack, I know we've talked about movies before. Are you a fan of Marvel superhero films, or are you not really in the nerd sphere?
I haven't really watched too many of them now.
I haven't watched too many in recent years because they've just gone down the tank in quality. But, you know, I mean, I'm a square. I'm a nerd. I used to love comic books, especially Ultimate Spider-Man. That was my jam back in the day. That's what I grew up reading. Of course, I read classic editions as well, the original Amazing Fantasy run. Loved Iron Man and the original Spider-Man movies with Sam Raimi. So much on the table with creativity, and they captured the spirit, the essence, I think, of those superheroes and their characters. Not so in 2024 or 2025, as time has now passed. Anthony Mackie, you may or may not know, he is taking over the role of Steve Rogers, Captain America, in another context that would be called whitewashing. Let's say if a white actor were taking a role for a black character, but in this case, the blackwashing goes unmentioned. However, Anthony Mackie was doing a press conference in Rome about Captain America. Now, can you imagine the most damaging thing you could possibly say about your character and what they represent if your character is named Captain America? That's right. You guessed it, and Anthony Mackie did it.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like, it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of, this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no.
I've contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
Yes, Producer Jack, your ears did not deceive you. The lead actor for the character Captain America said that of all the things the character Captain America represents, America isn't one of them. I mean, what kind of galaxy brain do you have to be to come up with a take like that? It's in the name, my guy. And if people are already skeptical of you taking over for, the mantle of Steve Rogers, which is something they did in the comic books, bastardizing the Falcon and getting him to take over for Steve Rogers, but they're repeating the same mistakes in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. Already lots of skepticism about this implementation of the character. And then he goes and says something like this, like, sorry about you. Marvel box office has been suffering because of the enormous lapse of judgment and creativity. And when you say stupid things like this, I don't have any sympathy for you. It is well deserved. Similarly, here is Idris Elba from Hollywood weighing in on knife crime in the United Kingdom. And look, no, this is why nobody likes when Hollywood stars weigh in on political issues, because they have the most vapid and insipid things to say. Here was his idea for potentially reducing knife crime.
The truth is that kitchen knives are perhaps 25% of the knives used in most of the terrible crimes. That's one of the stats in the films. And those kitchen knives are usually a domestic situation. Okay, so kitchen knives, of course, it's very difficult. They're a domestic knife. I do think there is areas of innovation that we can do with kitchen knives. I hate to say it, not all kitchen knives need to have a point on them. That sounds like a crazy thing to say, but actually it would reduce. You can still cut your food without the point on the knife, which is an innovative way to sort of look at it. And in a country in crisis, I'm sorry, but yeah, let's look at that. But the truth is, all knives, the loophole on the heritage knives allows the sale of zombie ninja swords to be sold. So while, you've got your granddad's sword on there and you want that, that's fine, of course, but it is leaving a loophole for someone to carry a ninja sword. So let's ban them all. And if you have one of those knives, get a license for it. Simple as that.
Afternoon, officer.
Tally ho, good chap. Out enjoying a cup of tea on this warm summer's day, I see.
Well, what else?
Hold on a minute.
What?
Queen Elizabeth's name.
Oh, no.
You're not using a saucer, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have one.
Oh, no. That's illegal.
Galaxy brain Brits over there. All right, if you take a knife and you look at it, it's got the sharp end right there on the end. What if you dulled the sharp end of the knife so that way it's harder to stab people's, and then it'll save lives? It's an unconventional way of thinking, but when you put your head to it there in Britain, you come up with solutions like that. What in it? What kind of nonsense is this? We're gonna stand down and we're gonna blunt the knife. My brother in Christ, you've heard of shivs, right? You can make those things out of twigs, out of pieces of plastic. What? It wasn't always this way. There was a time, Producer Jack, believe it or not, when Hollywood stars went out of their way from weighing in political issues. Elvis Presley, a prime example. Not so long ago in the grand scheme of things, this was him in the 1970s.
Mr. Presley, on the subject of this service, what is your opinion of war protesters, and would you today refuse to be drafted?
Honey, I just want to keep my own personal views about that to myself, because I'm just an entertainer, and I'd rather not say.
Do you think other entertainers should keep their views to themselves too?
No, I can't even say that.
Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the D.R.E.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, honey. I just don't have anything to say about the Vietnam War. I'm an entertainer, babe. That's what I do. It's in my heart. I'm here to sing, not to commentate on politics.
Man, I wish things were like that. And that's why Elvis Presley was and forever will be the king. Now, here is another fun soundbite. This is former president of Kenya, of course, global leaders given spotlight by the lamestream media, up in arms about the United States and Donald Trump promising a reduction in free foreign aid giveaways, as the tap should be turned off. It's unreasonable to expect the United States taxpayer to be forever on the hook for global global welfare. And this is a sentiment that evidently is shared by the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know,
Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
Oh, man. That was totally wicked!
See, all it takes is a leader to send the message, and the global community is going to follow in step. The reason why we had an enormous influx of illegal immigrants was because of the weakness that Joe Biden telegraphed, and because of the strength that Donald Trump is projecting. We're already seeing reforms in the global community, like with the president of Colombia, who said, oh, we're not going to take illegal migrants, until Donald Trump threatened him with a 25% tariff on all imports. And suddenly, his tune changed, and he sent the presidential airplane of Colombia to go pick up illegal migrants and help with the deportation. So, yeah, that's the difference when you put a leader in charge. And here's Donald Trump in classic form taking a dig at CNN.
They say it was the greatest opening week in presidential history. And I think, couldn't be a hell of a lot better. Even CNN is saying, this guy is amazing. I couldn't believe it. I said, did CNN really say that? Because nobody watches, so nobody was able to confirm it. But it was pretty amazing. Oh, the camera just went off.
Now that's comedy.
And I mean, it's true. The staff at CNN is getting slimmer by the day. They've already done rounds of layoffs. And then Jim Acosta also quit the airwaves this week. I was going to play that, but we're running out of time. There was one other soundbite that I thought, producer Jack, you might find entertaining. Have you ever had to quit a job before? Or have you ever been fired from a job before?
No to both.
No to both. Well, if you ever are fired from a job, there are ways to handle it. And this is not one of them, as demonstrated by a rather perturbed UPS worker.
Getting fired from the UPS store by this cuck loser, coward, cuck loser, won't even fire me at the beginning of my shift. Waits till the end of my shift. Here he is, Darren the cuck loser from 1892. He's a loser who doesn't know about running a business, and he's gonna let an alcoholic fat named Joe fire somebody with 10 years of experience because he complained that Joe won't train my co-workers, and Joe puts on the radio, and Joe drinks next door and won't tell to my co-workers because he's a cuck loser coward, just like Darren the cuck loser coward. Coward loser.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
So, yeah, there are ways to handle your firing, and there are ways to not. And yeah, that guy is a little intense. Don't film yourself, producer Jack. Like, if you do, you lose your temper. At least have the dignity not to film yourself in the process.
Yeah,
My God, man.
You don't want to burn bridges.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
The holidays are over, and the new year is here.
making it the perfect time to think about the future. More specifically, it's the perfect time to think about your financial future. Right now, Howard Bailey Financial is offering a free retirement toolkit, a comprehensive guide designed to help you plan, save, and jumpstart the retirement you deserve. To get your free copy today, text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 and download your free retirement toolkit. Start 2025 off with a gift to yourself, filled with all the tools you need to plan for a positive and purpose-filled future. Just text FUTURE to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Make this new year your year to invest in yourself and secure a brighter tomorrow, starting today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
When I was younger, I may have did some stupid things, even committed some crimes, but I am not a criminal.
I work for youth advocate programs, I was Tamani's advocate, helping him stay out of jail, stay in the neighborhood, and get a job.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. Made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration and neighborhood violence. Youth advocate programs. Learn how at yapinc.org.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Those were the days. Oh, yes, those were the days.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. Find the podcast uploaded to WIBC.com as well as Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm, my personal podcasting page. Before we end off hour one of the program, this month really has been marred by a series of tragedies, including the passing of a young woman in her prime. An OnlyFans star at the age of 27 has lost her life from a hotel balcony in Peru while filming a threesome. At least she died doing what she loved. You know what I mean, Producer Jack? I mean, if there's a way to go, that's the way to go. Head over heels, literally, perhaps even a couple of times, as they say. So there you go. This was Ana Beatrix Pereira Alves, known as Anna Polly, if you are curious about finding her posthumous works uploaded to OnlyFans. The passing of a young woman in her prime. Of course, there's many such women in the world out there putting their assets on display, including some musicians, which are known for it. You familiar with Billie Eilish, there, Producer Jack?
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of her music, but there were a couple of reasons that I like her performances, as shared on the Hammer and Nigel show this week.
On the YouTube chat, Saturday Night on the Circle host Ethan Hatcher chimes in, quote, "There were two reasons I like Billie Eilish. Neither of those reasons are her singing." See, that's important to point out because Billie Eilish has large breasts, and that's what he's trying to reference right there.
Does she? That's what people would know her for?
Large breasts.
Really?
Yes. Huh. Yes. Mike Pence used to sit in this chair.
Yes.
Love Kenny Boggs over there. What? That's what Billie Eilish is known for? I would have never known. Who knew? We see you there. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Stay tuned for hour two coming up next.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Jewelrygram, it's your friends at Shane Company, here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart, like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural rubies, colorful sapphires, and natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty and everyday competitive prices. Come visit us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Pat Sullivan here for Hope Plumbing. Have you been dreaming of kitchen updates since the new year began? My friends at Hope Plumbing want you to love your plumbing. Update your faucets, fixtures, water heaters, and more with a $100 off a $500 plus plumbing service. Make your remodel dreams or small home update wishes come true and start to love your plumbing again. Call and schedule an appointment today at 317-641-HOPE or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Hi, it's Pastor Nathan from Life Church, here with my beautiful wife, Christina.
Hello, we are so excited to let you know about our upcoming marriage conference.
You know, we've been married for 25 years, and that doesn't happen without intentionality and hard work.
That's right. So no matter where you are in your marriage, or even if you're looking to get married, you'll want to join us on February 21st and 22nd.
You can get more information at lifechurchin.com and make your marriage a priority as you start off 2025.
Why not start 2025 with a great new deal from Tom Roush Lincoln? Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, now $12,000 off, and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So start the new year with a new car from Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through February 28, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and as a mom myself, I know it's really important to keep the kiddos healthy. Air quality, humidity, those are super big issues on my concern list. If you share any of these concerns, give Family a call, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
The NTSB in Philadelphia. I'm Jane Fergus, Fox News. A Learjet 55 crash landing into the Roosevelt Mall in Philadelphia Friday evening. Here's National Safety Board Chairman Jennifer Homendy.
Was destroyed when it crashed into a commercial and residential area shortly after takeoff from Northeast Philadelphia Airport with 6 people on board, including 2 crew members.
And those 6 people on board died, along with 1 person on the ground. Meanwhile, the investigation continues into the midair collision in Washington, D.C. between a passenger plane and an Army helicopter Wednesday night. 67 people were killed, and now both black boxes have been recovered. Fox's Grady Trimble reports from Arlington, Virginia.
The black box from the helicopter in particular will be critical in this investigation, because if that helicopter was in fact flying higher than it should have been, the investigators will be able to use that black box to tell. The NTSB is not responding to President Trump's comments that DEI hiring of air traffic controllers during the Biden administration played a role in the crash, but it does tell us it's interviewing the air traffic controllers who were working at the time of Wednesday's midair collision. The NTSB has begun removing debris from the Potomac River.
And staffing at the air traffic control tower was reportedly lower than normal, with one controller doing the job of 2 people. The U.S. military has conducted coordinated airstrikes against Islamic State operatives in Somalia, the first attacks in the African nation during President Trump's second term. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Saturday that the strikes were coordinated with the Somalia government. America's listening to Fox News.
Fox News Audio presents the Fox Nation Investigates podcast. A look into the Menendez brothers with victims or villains. Then, Judge Janine Pirro and a panel of experts break down their new fight for freedom with monsters or misunderstood. And follow 3 incredible cases where world-renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Baden helps change the course of the investigation with the Baden Files. Listen and follow at foxtruecrime.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
I guess I would say the Packers.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
And America.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Who he has chosen. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. Indiana has a new inspector general. Harrison Silcox reports.
Jared Prentice accepted the position. Governor Mike Braun made the announcement Friday. Inspector General, if you don't know, is supposed to make sure there's no sort of fraud or mismanagement going on within state governments while also creating a positive work culture. Prentice has plenty of experience as an attorney in both the public and private sector. He's responsible for the creation of the Indiana Department of Revenue's Compliance Department. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And Hoosier Senator Todd Young asked this question to President Donald Trump's nominee to run the Small Business Administration, Kelly Loeffler, this week.
Do you have specific ideas about how SBA might be modernized and improved under your leadership?
I would look at a broad range of efficiency, both cost and technological efficiencies that could be gained. I'll be looking at organizational design.
Young said he was also encouraged to hear that Loeffler believes small business is about free enterprise and not the government. Dry January is officially over. For those who took part in the annual tradition of backing off the booze for a month, research shows that saying no to alcohol can actually boost your mood and your immune system, help you sleep better, and aid in dropping a few pounds. Also on the plus side, you likely saved some money. The average price for gas across the state is currently $2.95 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, mostly cloudy, some spotty areas of drizzle in the early morning hours. Low temperatures in the low to mid-30s. For Sunday, Groundhog Day, mostly cloudy, with winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Scott Wilson, third-generation owner of Wilson Farm Market, just 15 minutes north of 465 on 31. If you are looking for your source of homegrown, locally made, know where your food's coming from, we are your spot. We have hand-dipped ice cream, 130 different kinds of cheese. We fry chicken, just a little bit of everything, a foodie's heaven. Wilson Farm Market, where good taste runs in the family. Just 15 minutes north of 465, right on US 31.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's you and me, and if only could.
and make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, and producer Jack. Beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. I just took a look at the YouTube stream. It looks like we've got about 25 likes so far, producer Jack. I think that's very good. Thank you for participating, but that's not quite to our goal. Hammer and Nigel, is, if you've heard, usually try and set about a goal for 100 likes in their stream. And of course, not as many people are listening on a weekend. We're a much smaller operation since we're not doing a Monday to Friday show. That being said, if you think that producer Jack and I are at least as half as entertaining as Hammer and Nigel, then I think we can get to 50 likes. So hop on the YouTube stream. We're still going on for another hour. Plenty of time to give us a like and hop in the chat. Say hello. Lots of friends already joining in on the conversation. This segment, of course, I wanted to shine a spotlight on the continuing efforts of the Trump administration to simply enforce border security, much to the chagrin of pearl-clutching Karens that comprise the Democrat Party. Here was J.D. Vance basically giving the smackdown to Martha Raddatz once again over the immigration crisis, noting that, look, if you haven't been vetted, you shouldn't be here. That's not a radical position. That's not a racist position. And yet, the Democrats pearl clutch and whine.
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all of these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These
It's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he
Yeah.
wasn't. I
Yeah.
don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really
But-
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
Shut up, silly woman. No other country in the world that has a functioning government operates their borders the way Democrats insist the United States function, where you come when you want, whoever you please, whenever you like. If you come over and you have a child, you get automatic citizenship, automatic rights, you get welfare provided to you. No other country functions that way, and it's refreshing to see a vice president reflect the values and reflect the position of many Americans, which isn't unreasonable. Just that if you're coming to America, come through the front door. Of course, not only Karens in media, but also breathless Democrats in Hollywood. Selena Gomez attempting to virtue signal over the plight of immigrants in a video that she uploaded to Instagram and then quickly deleted because the tide is turning and people no longer sympathize with this level of cringe.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. How many people are getting attacked? Children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin. This is serious. I know. This really is the world's smallest violin. See?
Many people who have a Hispanic background, who have an Asian background, whose family members potentially came over to the United States through the process of immigration, they voted for Donald Trump. they're not supportive of this unlimited illegal immigration influx of immigration, and that's why Selena Gomez deleted her video, because the policies, the open border policies of Democrats have fundamentally endangered communities around the United States, as exemplified by none other than the city of Chicago. Brandon Johnson, when confronted about a criminal illegal who was on the committed sexual assault and allowed to run free in Chicago neighborhoods since 2009, and then Tom Homan comes into town and then captures in under less than 24 hours, and Brandon Johnson's response to why Chicago police weren't able to do the same thing is like, oh, well, it's the federal government's responsibility. What?
The people of Chicago tell me that your answers are nothing more than double talk, word salad, pre-scripted PR statements. Tom Homan showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal
Their
government
job's not to keep
has
the
a
people of Chicago
responsibility
safe?
to make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as we've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago. Thank you very much.
I mean, everybody knows that the mayor is lying there. This is as preposterous as when the former Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas tried to say that the federal government didn't have the authority to shoot down the drones flying over New Jersey. Now, as it turns out, they were authorized by the FAA, which of course they were. But to suggest that the federal government lacks the authority is absurd. For Brandon Johnson to suggest that the Chicago police lack the authority to enforce the law against a known sex offender flouting the registry is absurd, but they did it because of politics, because of the politics of inclusion and diversity and unlimited illegal immigration that manifestly endangers communities. And that's why the border czar, Tom Homan, not putting up with it, as is being reiterated on a united front across multiple levels of the administration. You heard J.D. Vance. Well, here's the border czar saying the same thing. It's nice to hear.
I want to go back to those military flights going south. As you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority basis, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Tom Homan, border czar, not messing around. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. More on the way. Up next, Carl's Conspiracy Corner. Stay tuned.
Are you thinking this year I want to look and feel better and get my hair back? We Grow Hair Indy can help you do just that. I'm Rob, and I got my hair back at We Grow Hair Indy. Here's Darren Andrews, clinic director, to tell you why I chose them.
For nearly 20 years, we've helped thousands of clients grow their hair back, and we can help you.
We're one of only 2 places in the entire country to offer the Artis Robotic FUE and multi-unit hair grafting.
I got multi-unit hair grafting. I love the results and cannot believe how much hair I got back. I can't recommend them enough. Call right now, 317-522-2995 for a free evaluation. Great technology, great company, great people, great results. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, see my results, and call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Don't you want to say, I got my hair back?
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who'll make preventing pandemics their life's work. Sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change. And generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
So much to celebrate, but the fight has just begun, especially when we see how abortion took center stage in this historical election. That's why we can't stop talking about the ministry of Preborn. Preborn has rescued over 300,000 babies by loving mothers with unplanned pregnancies and introducing them to their baby on ultrasound. Once she sees her baby and hears their heartbeat, her baby's chance at life doubles. Preborn and their network of clinics are on standby for babies and mothers. Meet Deanna.
They do a bedside sonogram. As I'm looking at the sonogram, the baby waves.
Her baby called out from the womb, and she knew that life was the only choice.
God saved him. Not only did he save him, he saved me in a different type of way.
Your tax-deductible donation of $28 sponsors one ultrasound. Please donate. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Jesse. Sponsored by Preborn.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
My name is Jamie Bowles, and I was diagnosed with non-small cell lung cancer in December of 2018. Nobody would even know looking at me that I have stage 4 lung cancer, and I'm grateful for biomarker testing for that. When I was sitting down with my oncologist, there was already state-of-the-art medication available that I was going to be put on right then and there. Ask your doctor how comprehensive biomarker testing before treatment may help you decide on the best treatment. Visit NoOneMissed.org to learn more.
A public service message from Longevity Foundation.
There are 48 million unpaid family caregivers in the United States. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to access a free guide to help navigate your caregiving journey.
There are screening tests to catch cancer early. Visit cancer.org/getscreened.
I said to my Uncle Sam, old man taxes, here I am, and he was glad to see me. Mr. Small Fry, yes indeed. Lower brackets, that my speed, and he...
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
I paid my income tax today.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher. The podcasts are on WIBC.com and my personal podcasting page, SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. And you always find us streaming live on the YouTube machine, 7 to 9 every Saturday night. One thing the government does exceedingly well is extracting wealth from its citizens through the form of taxation. From the seeds of rebellion, over a 3% stamp tax act have sprung a complacent stock that tolerates the highway robbery of modern income taxes, which themselves are a relatively recent invention in America. And since their implementation under the Woodrow Wilson administration, the federal bureaucracy has ballooned exponentially as they separate you from your hard-earned dollars. Here to give us a historical retrospective on the ways your government is ripping you off is the stalwart defender against deep state overreach, the warrior for truth, justice, and the American way. It's producer Carl, who joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I
Can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
We've returned deep beneath the streets of Indianapolis to the lead line, concrete encased, entombed bunker. Tell us, producer Carl, what have you got outlined for us about taxation? You got about the 16th Amendment. Let's go.
Well, first of all, I want to start out with a plug for myself since you introduced where you can find your podcast. You can now find the Conspiracy Carl podcast, not a Conspiracy Carl because we discovered that was taken.
Right.
So it's going to be
the Conspiracy Corner.
Conspiracy Corner with Carl, all with C's, .fireside.fm. So Conspiracy Corner with Carl. .fireside.fm.
Yeah, you got to practice getting the podcast out there.
Yeah, people are like, I can't find this.
I'm excited about it, though, and thank you for letting me participate in it every week.
Absolutely. So one of the most pleasant surprises that I've seen and felt with the Trump administration is that we have a president for the first time ever in my lifetime hinting about eliminating the income tax.
Isn't that exciting?
It's totally exciting because the income tax is evil. I mean, we all understand as a civilized people that there are going to have to be taxes in order to have a civilization. But my feeling is that there should be a tax on products that you buy because in order to get those products, you need to have a functioning society. Right now,
so what you're talking about is the fair tax or the national sales tax.
Well, not necessarily a fair tax because that has implications on itself too, with the word fair, but more of a sales tax.
Well, that's the national sales tax.
Correct.
As opposed to a flat tax.
And,
a fair tax is kind of a shorthand that it's often known as.
What the left fails to always tell you is that they always want to add the fair tax on top of the income tax, which is highly problematic because we already pay enough taxes.
And the income tax, I think, to what you're alluding to, has been weaponized as a means to divide the American people because they're wanting to separate you into the income stratospheres, and then so and so isn't paying quote their fair share.
Oh yeah, it's all about control because if you have certain behaviors, you are taxed differently. So the income tax is not about generating revenue for the federal government. The income tax is about control ultimately. And that's the big issue that I have. In terms of the evilness about it, you're going to tax me and yourself for the benefit of going to work? I mean, just think about how ludicrous that is. In exchange for this loving government that allows you to work, the government is going to take its cut for something that they haven't done any work.
And there's a direct correlation with the implementation of the income tax. And you're right, the control, the oversight that the federal government has increasingly used over your daily life. I mean, again, the Federal Register has ballooned since the implementation of the income tax. So many new laws, new regulations, new forms of separating you from your money. It's very insidious, and it began under the Woodrow Wilson administration. Also around the same time was the 17th Amendment, which was the direct election of senators.
Well, you can
as opposed to having the states elect the senators.
You can see the globalist conspiracy right there, the progressivism, the quote progressivism of the left in play with the 16th Amendment and the 17th Amendment.
And that's what Woodrow Wilson wanted to implement across the United States. That's why he was a big proponent of the League of Nations, which was the predecessor to, of course, the United Nations.
Which would stop all wars, right?
Never once have they succeeded in that goal. Has yet to happen. But try as they may.
We got the first taste of Trump hinting at this when he oddly out of nowhere, because there wasn't a demand to get back the name of Mount McKinley in Alaska from Denali. Like that was all seemed to be, well, this is his way to take a dig at Obama because Obama changed the mountain name to Denali, and so this was Trump's way of taking that back.
Is it a dig at Obama?
Well,
I interpreted that as a connection with a president who was assassinated. And he survived the assassination.
It's so funny. Interpretation is all that of the listener. I first took that as a dig against Obama, but it turns out that Trump thinks a lot about McKinley, and he talks about it in the idea that McKinley generated the majority of funds from the federal government through tariffs. And that's why we hear so much talk about tariffs and the new External Revenue Service that he's thinking of creating. He's putting out the idea that the federal government actually generate its income through foreign governments rather than American workers.
Well, it was also through vice taxation, through alcohol. That was another huge funding of the federal government for a long time. Alcohol tax.
Well, I don't think that tax will ever go away. So let's go to the recording of Donald Trump putting that out there with the External Revenue Service.
It'll be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money. And that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense?
And this would be called the Conspiracy Corner without a hint of some conspiracy as to why we got the income tax.
Uh-oh, what are you getting us into now, Carl?
Yeah, so let's listen to Trump when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Unless they pay a big price, and the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. You know, believe me, they control our politicians.
They control our politicians. So that was over 100 years ago, and not much has changed. The globalists, not Americans, actually control our politicians and dictate the policy here in the United States.
And the goal is ultimately, again, to separate you from your money. And they're very successful at it.
They don't want to pay it.
We revolted over a 3% stamp tax, and the taxation without representation turned into taxation with lots of representation.
What's so refreshing about this is growing up, I mean, the concept of the income tax going away was a nice idea, but I never thought that any legitimate politician or the president would ever suggest that we get rid of it entirely and exchange it with a tariff system, which the United States did fine before 1913.
I mean, I think there are lots of optimistic changes under the Trump administration. The reform of the regulatory state, the potential elimination of the income tax, the elimination of tax on tips, and then also the reform and correct interpretation of the 14th Amendment, which was never designed for any old person to come into the United States whenever they please and then claim citizenship by birth, but rather it was to resolve the citizenship issue of American slaves. So lots of positive changes under the Trump administration. I agree with you. I think it's exciting. I think potentially the Trump administration second term could be among the most consequential certainly in my lifetime, maybe since the Reagan administration.
Well, you're exactly right, and I'm watching the clock, and I just wanted to put this out there that people read the book The Creature from Jekyll Island. Yes. So banksters in 1913 got together on Jekyll Island in Georgia, and this group of uber wealthy people got together and created the Federal Reserve, which is federal as much as Federal Express. It's a private entity. It is not the federal government, and it's the super wealthy banks in this country dictating all federal policy. And that all went down in 1913 as well.
And that's one of those conspiracy theories that has become conspiracy fact, because that's something that you can look up. It's in the historical record, when they met, where they met, and the formation and the foundation of the Federal Reserve.
Well,
it's creepy, kooky stuff.
Ethan, I'll tell you this. I went down to Jekyll Island to do my own investigation on Jekyll Island, and I will tell you more about that on another time.
Yeah, we'll have to do that in another episode.
Fantastic.
Thanks for listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner on 93 WIBC. This is Saturday Night on The Circle.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. A lot of folks give up on their bodies in their 40s or 50s. Statistically, we gain 1.5 pounds every year past 50. And it's usually a tough slog to fight that. 19 years ago, I took a friend's recommendation and I went to Exercise Inc. for one of their free consultations. Me? I didn't want to get heavy. I wanted to stay trim and in shape, and that was really a struggle. 19 years ago I went, and 19 years later, I'm still going every week. They've helped me to reach and maintain my health and fitness goals, and they do that with specific strength training in only 20 minutes a week. You've just got to try this health and exercise approach, and the consultation is free. My guess is that, like me, you'll be skeptical for the first couple of weeks, and then it happens. You'll feel better. You'll probably lose some weight, and you'll probably look better, too. Go to Exercise Inc. today and sign up for a free consultation. Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood, now in Fishers, too. ExerciseInc.com.
Attention Indianapolis residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in Indianapolis, and they get paid instantly. This is 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in Indianapolis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 463-262-0024. 463-262-0024. That's 463-262-0024.
I'm Roger Stern. Workers are on site in Philadelphia after last night's crash of a medical transport plane which damaged a residential neighborhood below.
Now the city's managing director says teams are going door to door to inspect buildings and homes to make sure there's no hidden structural damage.
Fox's CB Cotton, 7 people died from the crash, 6 in the plane, 1 on the ground. At least 19 people were hurt. Hamas once again releasing hostages, this time 3 people, including 1 American.
American citizen Keith Siegel released from the port of Gaza. Another man, Ofer Calderon, was also freed from Gaza today in the southern city of Han Yunis, along with Yarden Bibas.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Israel. This is part of phase 1 in the ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show
returns to Grand Park February 7th through 9th.
Find inspiration from over 200 exhibitors, artisans, and crafters.
SuburbanIndieshows.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
So much to celebrate, but the fight has just begun, especially when we see how abortion took center stage in this historical election. That's why we can't stop talking about the ministry of preborn. Preborn has rescued over 300,000 babies by loving mothers with unplanned pregnancies and introducing them to their baby on ultrasound. Once she sees her baby and hears their heartbeat, her baby's chance at life doubles. Preborn and their network of clinics are on standby for babies and mothers. years. Meet Deanna.
They do a bedside sonogram. As I'm looking at the sonogram, the baby waves.
Her baby called out from the womb, and she knew that life was the only choice.
God saved him. Not only did he save him, he saved me in a different type of way.
Your tax-deductible donation of $28 sponsors one ultrasound. Please donate. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Jesse. Sponsored by Preborn.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIPC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm the Bohemian Codger, Ethan Hatcher. My podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm. And you'll always find us streaming live on the YouTube machine 7 to 9 every Saturday night. In the quest for the perfect French fry, one Indianapolis-based company has made a potentially earth-shattering announcement that could change the game for all fast food companies around the country. Here to discuss who holds the title for the superior French fry is the connoisseur and lover of fried foods, plus one half of the award-winning Hammer and Nigel show. The all-American beef-loving son of Beech Grove, Jason Hammer, joins the show. Hello, sir.
Did you just call me fat? Is that why I'm here?
That was the shorthand.
I'm the resident fatty, and we're going to bring the fat guy on to talk about fries?
Well,
thanks, Ethan.
Admittedly, when I saw this story from, I think it was New York Post, about this man in Florida, the first person I thought of was you. This guy, he went on the so-called carnivore diet, but he took it to the most extreme way possible. He ate nothing but beef patties, butter sticks, and dairy for 8 months solid, and this dude starts literally sweating cholesterol out of the palms of his hands. He comes in the hospital. He's like, what's this gooey substance? They tested him. A normal human being supposed to have, like, I guess 200 milligrams of cholesterol in their blood. This dude had 5 times that. He had 1,000. He was literally sweating cholesterol, and I figured, it's Jason Hammer.
So if you were wondering where Chris Christie has been lately, he found a beach house down in Florida, moved down there, and he's living his best life. That's what you're telling me, Ethan.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
dude was eating sticks of butter. Like, do you know how gross that really is? Like, I'm a man that enjoys some butter. I'm a man that enjoys a good buffet. But to just sit down and chow down on a full stick of butter like it's an ice cream bar, boy, that's next level.
People do this. They get obsessions. People have done this with carrots, where they eat so much carrots that their skin turns orange. One man did that with colloidal silver. He drank so much colloidal silver, he dyed himself blue like Papa Smurf. There are people who have eaten so much licorice. Licorice is actually a mild poison, a mild toxin, but you have to eat such absurd quantities. Nobody thinks it's possible that you're going to kill yourself, except some people have. And this guy tried to do it with butter and beef.
So here's my question to you, all right? I'm going to put you on the opposite end of a question here. So if I brought in a big trash barrel, right, like one of those things that you have in your garage where you just put stuff in it, and filled it up with a food, you pick the food, you have to eat the entire barrel, what would you put in it?
Fried chicken and mac and cheese
together and just mix it around?
I guess. I mean, if you're putting it in a barrel, I could probably eat my way to a bottom of a barrel of fried chicken and mac and cheese.
Yeah. I could probably do that also with Nerds candy.
Nerds? Are you really a fan of Nerds?
I love Nerds candy. Yes, I love the Willy Wonka brand. I think Nerds are great. The Nerds ropes are good. The Gobstoppers, I like those too. I'm in, man.
The one Wonka branded item I wish they would bring back, since we're going all in on a fatty conversation, I can weigh in. I miss the Wonka branded bars where it was the milk chocolate with the graham crackers that was inside. It was like a superior crunch bar, and then they took it off the market. The bastards.
I'm with you on that one, and you look at some of the crap that's out there right now. You can't tell me there wouldn't be somebody that wouldn't like the Wonka bar with the graham cracker inside.
Absolutely.
Because because if you put it in the right packaging, then you can microwave it for maybe 5 seconds, and you kind of got a little bit of a s'mores thing going on.
You're right. You got a proto-s'more.
Boom. See? There's no off switch on this Genius panel. That idea needs to go up there with my all execution and funeral channel.
Now, an all-time classic, if you're talking about creating a proto-s'more, another thing that a lot of people, including myself, enjoy from time to time is dipping the old French fry in a milkshake. And what better French fry to dip your milkshake in than the Steak and Shake French fry, because these guys have made a potentially earth-shattering announcement. I'm very excited. They are going to switch to 100% beef tallow to fry their French fries in. I'm here for it, man.
Every time somebody switches to beef tallow, RFK gets his wings, right? So this is exciting. And look, I love Steak and Shake. I do. I don't go there enough. Now, I worked there in high school. True story. Great moments in Steak and Shake history. What we used to do, I was much younger and in much better shape then. I was a ball player doing all this kind of stuff. So late at night, when it was time to go home, I would take my shirt off, but we had those little bow ties, and I would put the red bow tie on and drive home in my Buick Skyhawk, pull up next to chicks like I'm a Chippendale dancer. Hey, sweet thing, you like this Tupac that's on the radio right now?
If you did that, you'd have the beer belly. It wouldn't play the same way.
No, that was true, though. We did that, and I loved working at Steak and Shake. Now, I will admit, I don't think I've had their fries in a long time. It's not that I'm anti Steak and Shake fries. If somebody brought some in here right now, I'd eat the bejesus out of them. But I've kind of got a routine. Like, I have to get a Frisco melt. I like a chili mac. Those are the things I normally go with.
Now, I enjoy their garlic burgers. Steak and Shake has a great garlic burger, but they also have a good French fry. They're the shoestring French fry,
Right.
so they're a little bit thinner than, let's say, your standard size McDonald's French fry. Who do you think has the best fry? Because before Steak and Shake switched to the beef tallow, I would say Arby's or possibly Checkers, i.e. Rally's, are the contenders for the best French fry because they're nice and crisp, what you want out of a French fry, and they're good and salty.
The salty, like, seasoning on Rally's fries, I think, are fantastic. Now, are we putting, like, curly fries and potato cakes in the same category as the traditional French fry? Are we putting potato wedges in the same category as traditional French fry?
I think potato wedges are their own thing. Because steak cut fries, which is something that Hardee's offers, I think count within the French fry universe, but potato wedges are their own thing.
Okay.
Curly fries, as long as they're using standard seasoning, because it's just a shape. A curly fry is just a different shape.
And going back to the Steak and Shake one, what I've always found was awesome, and I don't know what it is, the Steak and Shake ones just hit. When you have those small shoestring fries, instead of dipping them in the ketchup, dip them in a cup of cheese. Maybe this is an Indiana thing. Maybe this is a fat guy thing. But you use a little cup of cheese, man, your toes are tapping then, baby. That's good stuff.
Well, I think the people of Wisconsin would definitely be down for some cheese on the old French fries. And
Hold
the
on.
Canadians.
So going back to the fry debate here, because I'm fascinated with this. Now my head's spinning. I'm a crinkle cut guy. I think a crinkle cut fry is the best fry. And sometimes it's not even like a traditional fast food venue you will find these at. There's a place called like the Root Beer Stand. That's the name of the place in my neighborhood. And they're open all year long. And it's like an old diner, drive-in. You pull up, you make your order, they bring it out to you. Those fries, like made in the deep fryer in the back with the crinkle cut with their seasoning, dude, that's fantastic.
See, I am impartial to the shape of the fry, whether it's curly, whether it's crinkle, whether it's straight, as long as it is properly seasoned, as long as you get that nice crisp texture and that nice salty consistency, that I think is more important than anything else. And so if you're switching over to beef tallow, like Steak and Shake, I think we could have a return to the classic fry. McDonald's abandoned beef tallow in 1990 in favor of the seed oils.
Right. McDonald's fries are good. I'm not saying that they're not, but once you've had the beef tallow, you realize what you've been missing.
Yeah,
right?
going back.
Right. It's good stuff, man. So good for Steak and Shake. Now, Steak and Shake has also gone through some changes. From my days in high school, it was the place where everybody would go to. You'd sit down, open 24 hours a day. Now it's almost like a grab and go type of place. I think I just go through the drive-thru now, but some people go in, hit the kiosk, grab your to-go stuff, and get the hell out.
Well, they had to reform their business model. Well, not a lot of people know this, but just a few years ago, Steak and Shake was on the rocks, and if they didn't make some substantial changes to the way they did business, they were going to be gone. So
and they made it, though, man. They made it. They pulled it off. Not everybody pulls it off.
And I'm just glad that they stick around because, again, the garlic burger's good. And then if they're going to be implementing these beef fries, I'm here for it. You know who else can really enjoy some fast food is stoners.
Yes.
Stoners
Yes,
enjoy
they
good
can.
fast food. But it's going to be hard to get your fix here in Indiana because lawmakers in the GOP House, it didn't even make it out of committee. They are voting down rescheduling marijuana from Schedule 1 and reclassifying it here in the state of Indiana. What is the point, Jason, of being the lone holdout? Aren't we the last state surrounding us that hasn't legalized marijuana in some capacity?
I don't know if we're the last one. I haven't seen lately.
Hasn't Kentucky legalized some form of medical marijuana?
I'm not sure.
Ohio has, Illinois has, Michigan has. Whether or not Kentucky has, I thought they did, in which case we would be the holdout.
It's odd that we can pick and choose which vices to do, right? So we can gamble like mothers. We can gamble the mortgage away. We can go to casinos. We can do it on the toilet, playing on our phone with our sports betting apps. We can do that, and that's fine. But don't you dare find a gummy to help you go to sleep, because that's where we draw the line here in the state of Indiana. And listen, if I'm the Braun administration, I get it. You got bigger fish to fry right now. You're trying to get property tax fixed. You've got other, I would say, more pressing issues in front of it. And maybe they're waiting for weed to become somewhat decriminalized at a federal level. That's one of the arguments we always hear. And listen, I don't think Donald Trump's against that, by the way. You know, if things kind of go his way, I wouldn't be shocked if he decriminalized it at the federal level. And if that happens, you'll see the domino effect. But it just doesn't make sense having all these other states make this tax money and we're not.
At the state level, I agree with you. The priority for this legislative session has to be reforming property tax. But it would be cool if we would at least address the issue of marijuana legalization, because it stands out for a couple of reasons to me as hypocritical for Republicans. First and foremost, because we're supposed to be the party that prizes small government, limited control over your life. But also for so-called Christian conservatives, isn't making marijuana illegal kind of like saying God is wrong?
I'm not going down that path.
It grows in the ground. It grows everywhere. It's natural. It doesn't hurt you. You can't overdose on it.
But based on that logic, you know, God makes every baby. Babies grow up to be murderers. Murderer kills somebody. Like, you can do that with pretty much anything.
Yeah, but you're not going to illegalize babies.
No, but you can lock people up for murder, though, right? But I thought it was God's choice. So you could spin that any direction you want. But for me, if you're going to legalize weed, I've talked about this on the show, it can't be like Las Vegas or other places. Because in Vegas, and I go to Vegas every year, I am Mr. Vegas, they've got it so you can't stand and watch the Bellagio fountain show or just walk down the strip without being next to Dr. Dre with his big, massive fatty blowing smoke everywhere. Like, if you want to smoke weed, that's fine. I'm not mad at you at all. But it has to be in your home. It has to be somewhere indoors. Because what I don't want to have happen is families come downtown for the Royal Rumble for the WWE or the Indy 500 parade that happens, like family types of things. And here comes a bunch of dudes from 38th Street just blowing their weed smoke all around. That sucks. That happens in Vegas. And you have to enforce it, too, because the rules may state, well, the law states that you have to smoke it in your house, but we don't have the officers to enforce it. You got to find a way to enforce it because it stinks when you don't do it.
And I'm on board with all that. And there's just one more thing I want to add before we got to wrap up because we're running a little long. I think you can regulate it just like you regulate alcohol. We have open container laws. Similarly, you know, hey, don't smoke on the street. It's not too much to ask.
Right. But as you know, we're short like 400 officers here with the IMPD. Like, recruitment, retainment has been a problem. They're not going to have any officers downtown on weed patrol, right? They're out trying to find actual murderers, which, by the way, Indy paced over Chicago, per capita higher in murder rate last year. So that's the problem, right? It's the catch-22. The law says you have to smoke it indoors. Well, the law also says I'm not supposed to turn right on all of these red lights. Guess what I do, Ethan?
Well, geez, I wonder why we're in a hiring crisis at the IMPD when the mayor's office throws officers under the bus for enforcing basic laws around the city.
Yeah, when it comes to substances, I got news for you. Old Boss Hog said isn't going to crack any whips anytime soon.
Thanks for coming on the show, Jason.
Appreciate you, man.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Planning to propose this Valentine's Day? Shane Company has your back. Our easy process to create your dream engagement ring is rock solid. 1, pick your ring setting. 2, choose your center stone. 3, personalize it. With our wide selection of beautiful settings and hand-picked diamonds and gemstones, all at competitive prices, your ring will be as unique as your love story. We'll hand-set your ring in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store and protect it with our free lifetime warranty. Walk in with a dream, walk out with the ring that will take their breath away. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
My name is Ariel. When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without my high school diploma. My entire life changed when I took a chance and got my high school diploma at age 22. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers. They were with me every step of the way, helping with my English and math, making sure I push through all the challenges.
Ariel, your success proves that what I'm doing as a teacher has real meaning.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm a veteran. My victory was admitting I had PTSD and getting help.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I no longer see it as a weakness, but as a sign of strength. I call it post-traumatic growth.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
I'm a veteran. When I got out, I felt like nowhere was safe.
My victory was finding the help I needed.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
Thanks to DAV, now I feel like I'm human again.
Help support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle and spending your evening with me and producer Jack. I'm your host, Ethan Hatcher. Producer Jack, beep, 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 on the board and pushing the buttons to make the show function. Did you have any thoughts on the superior fast food French fry? So many options to choose from. I have all historically enjoyed a Steak and Shake French fry. The fact that they're switching over to 100% beef tallow, I think, is something that's going to play in their favor. I look forward to trying that when they officially make the switch. Now, as a young bachelor yourself, I'm sure you're very proficient in the ways of fast food. Did you have any thoughts on that?
I think, my favorite French fries are from Penn Station or Five Guys.
Penn Station. Now there's an interesting choice. Five Guys is kind of bougie, but Penn Station, that's not a selection you'd hear many people like. What you like about a Penn Station fry?
It's just naturally cut fries,
so like a hefty fry, like a steak cut fry.
Yeah, it looks kind of like Five Guys.
Do they put any seasonings on their fries? Now, Five Guys put seasonings on their fries, I'm pretty sure. I don't eat at Five Guys very often because who wants to spend $25 on a hamburger combo? But, I mean, I'm pretty sure they put some seasoning. Is that the case with Penn Station?
I don't think they have, seasoning. I think it's just salt, basically.
Just salt? Well, hey, look, if you do a French fry right, a little bit of salt is all you need, in all honesty. And if you want to weigh in, go ahead and hop in the chat on the YouTube machine while we got a little bit of time left here on Saturday Night on the Circle. I also checked, producer Jack, and we are less than 20 likes away from attaining our goal of 50 likes for Saturday night, this episode of Saturday Night on the Circle. It helps me. It helps the station. Less than 20 away. So if you haven't done it already, go ahead and go to the YouTube machine and give the show a like. And also, if because we are running out of time, if you do want to weigh in on the superior fast food French fry conversation, you can, of course, comment on the YouTube machine or follow me on Twitter, because I put up a poll on the Twitter machine at Ethan Hatcher, at ETHANHATCHER, if you would like to weigh in on the superior fast food French fry. Again, as long as it's crispy, as long as it's salty, as long as it's fried, it's hard to go wrong with a French fry. But one thing I think is nearly universally true, and see if you disagree, producer Jack, is all French fries need to be warm. They really decline in quality once they've gone soft, soggy, and cold. Nobody likes a cold French fry.
Yeah, I agree. And you can't like really heat them up in the microwave or.
No, they can't be saved. Not even with an air fryer. No. It's a one-hit food item. It's not like a pizza, where you can save it. French fries, not the same. Unfortunately, that's all the time we've got, ladies and gentlemen. I leave you with my parting words of wisdom. As always, wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, remember that life is a state of mind. See you next week.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow.